If you work in quality control at a candy factory, you know strict safety regulations come with the job. It's why you partner with Grainger. Grainger helps you find the high-quality and compliant products your business needs to inspect, detect, and help correct issues. And the sweetest part is, everyone gets a product that's as safe to eat as it is delicious. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Got a big idea but not sure where to start? Shopify makes it easy. From stunning templates to AI tools that write your product descriptions and boost your marketing, Shopify helps you build, sell, and grow fast. It's trusted by millions, from startups to brands like Gymshark and Mattel. And with 24/7 support, you're never on your own. Turn your dream into with Shopify. Start your $1 a month trial today at shopify.com/dax. That's shopify.com/dax.
Welcome, crew, guys, gals, schools, friends, fiends, foes, whoever may be listening, Beyond the Omniverse tonight. Secure your tinfoil hats, buckle down tight, and hold on loosely as we soar over the rocky tops of the La Platas on a rocky mountain high, get sucked into the vortex of the Four Corners, and settle down snugly at mile marker 420 in colorful Colorado. I'm your host, TessaTNT, and we are broadcasting live from the Mile High Clubhouse tonight. Thank you so much for coming and hanging out with me and getting into this new book that we're going to be doing. And welcome to We Are Paradox Media, Late Night in the Rockies. If you're listening live right now, you may be listening to us on KPNL Radio, which you can find at KPNL Radio at kpnl-eb.com. You can also find us live on YouTube. In the meantime, whether you're working it, or working out, you can always find us on Spreaker and basically any outlet that you listen to your podcasts on. Alright, so before we get into the book, I've started an old trend that I used to do, which was sharing a heart warmer every day, and the one for today is cherish yesterday, dream tomorrow, and live today. It's a pretty good one, I think. Alright, so the book that we're going to be reading is by Reverend John Polk, and it's called The Blue Beings Visitation at the UFO Conference. Yeah, I forgot he even signed this. It's pretty awesome. Alright, first page, The Blue Beings Visitation at the UFO Conference by Reverend John Polk, with contributions from Janet Kira Lesson, Karen Christine Patrick, Jimmy Church, Dave Cruz, Brett Collins Shepard, Mary Sutherland, Leslie Mitchell Clark, and Ron Sharfie. Cover art by Brett Collins Shepard. Copyright 2016, Create Space Edition. Alright. Forward by Janet Lesson. For many years, some of us in the UFO community who attend conferences, likely like myself, have wondered how many extraterrestrials may be attending our conferences each year, and be managing to walk among us without anyone even realizing. So it seems that for many years, nothing happened. Then in February 2015, at the International UFO Congress, several people reported seeing a very tall male being in the hallway when Stephen Greer was being directed to a table where he was to autograph copies of his book that were for sale. It was Mr. Tall. It was said Mr. Tall was not human. He looked odd. His energy was way different. He was definitely not human. They asked me, "Did you see that guy?" In fact, I just so happened to be one of those people in the hallway precisely during the exact time, but I noticed no one tall that looked alien. I remember looking back and forth, surprised at a huge crowd. And certainly someone that tall, with that kind of strange energy, would have caught my attention. Later I heard a dozen or so people comment, "Did you see the ET in the hallway after the Stephen Greer presentation let out?" No, I thought, bummed that I, a lifelong contactee, missed seeing an ET in broad daylight in the middle of a huge gathering of witnesses at a major UFO conference. I was surprised that many other, perhaps more ordinary folks who weren't contactees clearly saw something outside of the ordinary box. What happened here? But after reading John Polk's account of the blue aliens that visited the 2015 Experiencers Speak Conference, I wonder, was I suffering from alien anesthesia? What's that? Well, I'm going to have to read on to understand. Karen Christine Patrick introduced me to John Polk sometime in 2015. I forget exactly when. I'm so busy that life has become a huge blur of massive amounts of information. It is an interesting time to be alive. We all hit it off to the point. My husband, Dr. Sasha Lezen, and I invited John to join us Fridays on Aquarian Radio as co-host with Karen and I. That freed up Dr. Lezen's schedule a bit so he could focus on his writing. Since we were all Anunnaki researchers, authors, and experiencers, we shared a common bond that made things jive quite nicely. Yeah, I can totally relate to her when she's talking about, like, life is so busy, you have so many things to do, it's just a blur, and it flies by so fast. When John returned from the Experiencers Speak Conference in August of 2015 with the news that he and several others witnessed blue ETs at their conference, I was delighted to invite him and whatever witnesses he could muster to come on our show and discuss this phenomenon. I thought that at last what we had long predicted would happen was happening. The ETs had finally figured out that the best place to reveal themselves to human race was among those who already believed in them. Why risk their lives and personal freedom, landing in some silly White House lawn? They could walk among those who already get how important they are, and would welcome them like the US did the Beatles in the 1964 British invasion. Besides, the president couldn't quite appreciate them the same way experiences did. Look what Eisenhower did to Valiant Thor, an ET from Venus, later revealed as the stranger at the Pentagon. While meeting ETs is not unusual for experiencers, seeing them in the middle of a conference and realizing they are not just a bunch of happy conference goers wearing makeup and costumes would be astonishing. Actually, for those who've not actually been to many UFO conferences, people tend to dress and look quite normal. And while you may see the occasional blue-haired person in the UFO ET crowd, seeing blue skin is not normal on regular human beings. While blue hair has indeed become normal, especially for humans of the younger persuasion, such things remain in the minority until you widen your perspective and open your eyes. When you think about it and investigate it, reports of blue beings exist throughout time, from Krishna and his tribe to the blue avians reported more recently by experiencers. If indeed ETs can mask themselves using mind control or are able to thought project and shapeshift, ETs may indeed walk among us, and we may have no real idea of their true numbers. In fact, if they can disguise themselves as fully as reported, some of your friends may actually be little green or blue men. They just haven't yet revealed their true colors. A whistleblower friend of mine revealed that she served on a large Battlestar Galactica type ship, and the beings she served beside had blue and green skin tones, which were considered among the normal range of colors for humanoid beings. Her beings tended to have 4 fingers and wore an artificial pinky when walking among humanity. I wonder how many fingers and toes the beings had at John's conference. We shall see. Read on. So while my other friend's story is still being written, John's story is ready to be told. John brings to us a critical piece of this giant galactic puzzle. Listen up as John unravels the mystery and contemplates the levels between mind control and real memory. When faced with out-of-the-box phenomenon, the mind can play tricks, yet somewhere in the middle of all that manure lies a pony. That gem, a reality that's the key to magical realms designed to set humanity free from the negative matrix and perverted paradigms that keep humans from claiming their rightful place in the stars. Pay attention to what's revealed here in this book. Perhaps a similar invitation awaits you, the reader. How will you respond to the test when ET knocks on your door? Will you freak out or remain gracious? Create a positive presence as the newest chosen ambassador? You've been selected, like it or not, to represent your species to the brave visitors who dared to beam themselves down. Show their alien faces, risk adverse reaction, extreme danger, and maybe death. How will you fare? Will you pass or fail? Those at the Experienced Speakers 2015 conference not only rose to the occasion, they surpassed all expectations as they graciously invited their strange, new, odd acting and looking ET friends to come on in, sit right down, take their shoes off, relax, and enjoy the movie. Pass the popcorn, please. ET has arrived. It's time to remove our blinders and take out our prejudices, air them out, shake them, let them go. You think it's bad now, with the conflicts over people of different colors, creeds, races, places, orientations, religions, thoughts, and deeds. Wait till you meet our galactic family. How will you meet them? What will you do? Will you greet them or turn them away? How appropriate this book launches its maiden voyage the month of the 50th year anniversary of the premiere of the original Star Trek. This TV series moved humanity past alien depictions that looked like the Blob to intelligent beings like Spock, who not only served among humans but was second in command of a starship in a galactic federation that humans had joined. What What will you teach them about us if you meet ETs face to face? Will you teach them lore? Will you teach them hate? What message will you give them, not only about humanity, but about yourself? Your own personal being incarnated in a human avatar, a soul in meat skin that perhaps to them looks very strange. Will you remember we are all one? Will you remember that we are all ETs deep inside, simultaneously incarnated in many forms, realms, planes, planets, levels of existence, and dimensions? We only think we're human. We're actually all of the above. Bottom line, I can't speak for humanity. I can only be me, and I chose to greet them with joy, as I always have as a lifelong experiencer. I invite you to do the same, to embrace them, welcome them, invite them in to play a game of peace, love, freedom, truth, and authentic happiness. Experiencers who see the good in others, be they human or alien, tend to draw that energy via the law of attraction in action into their lives. Disclosure is upon us. ET waits patiently for us to throw away our toys of war and meet them. It has begun. Learn how to be with them. While they are patient, we're running out of time. Read this book and others like it to awaken yourself and become conscious. Do it now before it's too late. Open yourself to all eternity, all existence, to magic, the highest good for all humanity, all creation, and all beings. The experiencer movement is how humanity is going to integrate knowledge of the ET presence on Earth and in the cosmos. Embrace it. Fake it till you make it. Embody it, and it becomes your operating system and the new system for all of us. Wrap your mind around it. Internalize it. As you become it, it becomes you. We now see the new dawn of the golden age of enlightenment, and we embrace technologies, new paradigms, systems, governances, and new ways of being that respect all life, all consciousness. A new awareness is upon us that allows all humanity and all beings to live and love in beauty, peace, dignity, and grace. Peace out, flame on, it has begun. Janet Kira Lesson, Aquarian Radio. Now we're in the introduction. What was the first thing called? Forward. Now we're at the introduction. And this is by Karen Christine Patrick. If you were the extraterrestrials, how would you go about making your presence known to Earth? In the case of modern Earth society, many believe first contact would be an epic and worldwide event. The often repeated marker is that UFOs would land on the White House lawn, despite the fact that the White House is now in a zero-fly zone. This would be rather confrontational and fraught with the possibility of a gross misunderstanding. Did you guys see earlier this week where I think it was a 5 or 6-year-old kid squeezed through the fence and was up there on the White House lawn? It was pretty funny. He had gotten in there so far that people doing different sections of the yard had to pass him along. So going from this section to the other section to the other section closest to the fence. That kid must have been pretty quick or pretty sly. In the last century, we became spacefaring, although our manned forays were limited to trips to our moon and mainly engaged in activities in near-Earth orbit. President Kennedy and others felt after 2 devastating world wars that the dream of space travel would be inspiring enough for us to find a way to get along and to have a goal other than warring for resources. Human nature being what it is, with centuries of programming and ideas that lead to conflict, it meant the goal of achieving space flight to change our collective trajectory really didn't work too well. The idea that ET might be some kind of dangerous hazard that unites all Earth was introduced to our political spectrum by President Reagan. who emanated what a common threat might cause all of humanity to unite. That is a sad thought, that first contact might be threatening or hostile in some way, since the speech, our leadership has bled the planet financially to keep ourselves armed and ready. That is not a political fiction, but an actual fact. It was Reagan who started the initiative of national planetary defense called Star Wars. The revelation by Carol Rosin from German rocket scientist Werner von Braun that Black Project forces wanted to build space-based weapons is no fiction. One has to surmise that they already know we are not the first planet that has gone from a blackout, lack of knowledge, to full awareness. They must have some process to help us get past our xenophobia and get used to the idea of a populated universe. This idea implies that they have some kind of protocol to integrate Earth humanity into some kind of friendly confederate of spacefaring worlds. They don't want us to enter our true space age, guns ablazing and angry, afraid of the unknown. I believe the experiencer path is key to this protocol. It's an up-close and personal, individualistic process. No matter how well the story is told by another, we really only know something if it happens to us directly. For example, if I have an experience and I tell you, then you have to decide what you think about my credibility based on your own experience. If you have an experience of a paranormal kind, then we share with each other, finding similar and dissimilar facts. And not only is it a far more interesting conversation, but a kind of validation. This is one reason experiencers are seeking each other out now, more and more. Why there is now a myriad of support groups, conferences, and an explosion of social media groups dedicated to connecting experiencers to each other and share experiences. The Experiencers Conference, which is the Experiencers Speak Conference, is a conference bringing experiencers together for information and sharing. It is the brainchild of Audrey Starborn Hewins from the group Starborn Support. Starborn Support is a support group for experiencers, contactees, abductees, and witnesses. Media tends to focus on a few famous cases. However, contrary to what most people think, there are not a few but many experiencers. Some experiencers are having things happen to them regularly or even on a daily basis. We have several human methods trying to understand the phenomenon. We have governmental involvement and study, as well as initiatives by citizens demanding full disclosure by officials. Over many years, there have been scientific studies, investigation by those who are under the category of ufology, and research by individuals and organizations. In more recent years, there is the investigation by a new academic initiative called Exopolitics that looks at the total picture of the situation and can even be more speculative about who the ET civilizations are that are engaging the people of the world. Steve Bassett of the Paradigm Research Group, a leader in exopolitics, has suggested that the group that has not really been heard from as an organized force would be made up of experiencers, contactees, and abductees. Those who take on their own experiences as a guide to research, who are able to help other experiencers, I have dubbed integrated experiencers, have been able to integrate their experiences into their personal paradigm, which I think is part of this experiencer protocol. It has been initiated with the Earth population by friendly ETs. This experiencer protocol is very important because the hierarchical methods for information control have effectively marginalized the topic of ETs, aliens, or UFOs ever since the Roswell incident. To keep us on track and doing our duties without questioning the system, the powers that be depend on a guided consensus reality with authoritative voices deciding the script about ETs and UFOs, creating a conscious or consensus decision on the matter that excludes all dissent. The problem is that literally millions of people all over the world are having experiences, and a pressurized need to tell is building. They use what I call the credibility maneuver, demanding that anyone who talks about the topic of UFOs should be scrutinized skeptically, unless they can proffer professional level credentials and scientific level proof. The credibility maneuver sets up a microaggressive, skeptical environment before somebody can just tell the story in its raw form first, before the witness can even open his or her mouth. Most experiencers can't face even political discourse and have chosen the experiential path for humanity, to learn about them in an individual way and then ultimately as a whole species. Experience trumps theory every time. You can read about a thing, somebody can tell you about a thing, but when the thing happens to you, it's now very real. Considering our relative primitiveness and tendency for violence, if I were ET, I would be motivated to have a protocol that created personal learning experiences for more and more people within a particular population, until enough people know about it to lose the fear, to be curious, and to want to know more. That is why I think there seems to be this mass contact effort that scales to the individual. A UFO sighting is a weapon of mass instruction. In this story of beings visiting the UFO conference targeting experiencers, I think it's fascinating that some beings decided to visit probably the safest place they could be, in a group of experiencers who are likely to be the least afraid or to react violently. If somebody wrote the script for that moment, one would imagine that all these people would instantly recognize them, welcome them with open arms, and have joyous celebration. As it has been told by several of the witnesses, that is not what happened. Nothing bad happened, but somehow something happened that made it so that the experiencers really didn't quite remember what happened until later. Reverend John calls that fogginess of memory alien anesthesia. It seems they want it so that a particular event is not meant to be remembered until it is time. Time being right for each experiencer and for a widening circle of those interested. I've talked to a lot of experiencers since I came out as a contactee in 2012 and in my research and media work. Seeing this protocol pattern, I believe that we will have more and more of these types of events until either a gradual collective realization sets in that we are not alone, or some undeniable huge event happens and we are thrust into paradigm galactic quite suddenly. I got this term paradigm galactic early in my contactee experience through automatic writing. I really liked it as a description because this really says what we are heading into. Now, we don't have anything but a fictional grasp of what goes on in the galaxy. In that next paradigm, wonders untold. As John's friend and editor of his book, Yahweh, the Biblical God is an Alien, I've had lots of talks with John about this incident. I am the co-host of Aquarian Radio with Janet Lesson and John Polk. To find out more about this case, we've brought John and some of the other witnesses on the show to hear the details. What is interesting is the continuing unfoldment of the reactions by witnesses. It's subtle and powerful. People are talking, they're comparing notes, they have been talking and cross-pollinating observations on many radio shows and in social media about this particular event. That's the best thing that could happen because most experiencers are normally not talking. is still a very taboo subject fraught with ridicule, so talking is a good thing, especially about this topic. What this book is for is to widen the discussion still further, bringing in you, the reader, and others into the circle. One thing I will do after digging into this case, that whenever I am at some kind of conference, I'm going to clear my mind and pay attention to those who are there. Maybe I will see some beings not of this world. If I see such beings, I won't go crazy and draw attention to them, but I would be thrilled to know that they are here interacting with us, and that would mean we are very close to some very big realizations for humanity. Now we're going into the prologue. So that was by Karen Christine Patrick, the editor. Prologue, I Am an Experiencer, by Reverend John Polk. Growing up in a 3-story condo on the ocean in Daytona Beach, Florida, set the stage for a lifetime of abductions. One night when I was 15 years old, I was lying in bed listening to the crashing waves that served as a kind of soothing lullaby. Next thing I knew, I opened my eyes to see 3 gray aliens looking in through my sliding glass door. Like little kids, they were pressing their heads against the glass for just a moment. Then, before I knew what happened, they were in my room without opening the door. Next, a light captured my attention as it bounced off the rolling waves. Exceedingly bright was this light, cascading into my bedroom, however. It was not blinding to gaze upon. Just then I blacked out and awoke the next day thinking it was all a dream. Later that day I began experiencing discomfort in my private areas and soon arrived at the conclusion that I had undergone a procedure or operation. A few days removed, the pain subsided and I went about life as if nothing extraordinary had occurred. Shortly thereafter, I began writing a book of poetry entitled Beyond Oblivion, Through the Crevices in Between. Back in 1985, I wrote off the encounter as if it was a dream. But then in 2010, I started to relive that and other encounters through flashback visions, just like quick clips from a movie montage. Eventually, I came to the sobering realization that I had been abducted numerous times, and it took me until age 40 to pop my alien memory cap and remember. From then on, my blindfolded past started to bleed through into my conscious mind, and I started seeing ETs and UFOs unlike ever before. As I realized I have the ability of a medium, I began questioning my guides and digging deep into my subconscious in search of extraterrestrial answers. What I found exceeded all my supernatural expectations. The aliens chose me to see them and their spacecraft for the rest of my life. I am an experiencer and abductee who communicates with the other side. Navigating the astral plane since I was a teenager has always been exciting and adventurous for me. One thing I failed to realize is that not only am I in contact with spiritual entities, but I'm also channeling extraterrestrials telepathically. Enoch, the scribe of the gods, and Yahweh, or Enlil of the Anunnaki, masquerading as God in the Bible, are the two that send me the most information. At this time in my life, I am facing my greatest fears. I'm coming out of the closet to let experiencers from all around the world know that they are not alone. The best thing for us to do is to share our encounters with others because as the word spreads, more experiencers will speak out as the fear of ridicule will rapidly diminish. Also, the spoken word manifests an abundance of energies that enables the earth and we earthlings to ascend closer to the light and enlightenment. So now let us all join hands together within the collective God consciousness that we are all a part of and reach out through organizations like the Dr. Edgar Mitchell Foundation for Research into Extraterrestrial Encounters, FREE, Experiencer.org, the Starborn Support International, who are here to help us, Reverend John Polk, author. Chapter 1, The Conference. Traveling back to that evening, it was a full moon on the evening of Saturday, August 29th, 2015, at the Experiencers Speak Conference 4 at the Fireside Inn in Portland, Maine. The Experiencers Speak Conference is an event for people who have personally experienced otherworldly contact or are curious to learn more about this phenomenon. People come from all over the world to share their stories and listen to others talk about what they have witnessed. That night, 4 visitors, not of this world, reality, or dimension, arrived just as world-famous experiencer Travis Walton was to share the new documentary, Travis, the True Story of Travis Walton, about his abduction story. There was to be a showing of the DVD with a Q&A session immediately following. These 4 visitors came into the doors to the room and said that they had to come see Travis speak. The story of what happened that night has been percolating through the experiencer and UFO communities ever since. This book intends to present a complete picture of the event. My name is John Polk. I am an eyewitness as to what happened that night. Travel with me back in time to the night before, Friday, August 28th, 2015. I was the opening speaker that evening, part of a roster of amazing and courageous people who are mostly experiencers, or those who have had contact with otherworldly beings, extraterrestrials, extra-dimensionals, and or have been abducted. Many in attendance were experiencers themselves, desiring to connect with other people who were also others, who were those who were curious or desirous of having experiencers of their own. The first part of my presentation was a guided meditation, which I will share in this book with you. I firmly believe that this meditation set the stage spiritually with those in the room that night for what transpired later on. Sharing this meditation with you means that you might perceive what was intended by the visitation. In this moment, there are no boundaries of time. You are in spirit in the room with all that were there. As your soul expands, I take us on a journey through our third eye in search of ET contact. Into the infinite omniverse, let's travel together to the other side of our conscious and subconscious minds as I take us through a journey of the mind in search of ET. The guided meditation. The following is the presentation I gave the evening of Friday, August 28, 2015, at the Experiencers Conference. Let me get a quick drink. Title of the speech: Experiencers Surging Ahead. Good afternoon, experiencers. My name is Reverend John Polk. I am an international metaphysical minister. I founded Wolf Spirit Ministries, LLC. I am the author of my new book entitled Yahweh, Biblical God is an Alien. I am a Reiki master / instructor. I currently live in Orlando, Florida, where I am a singer, DJ, karaoke guy, entertainer, in the attraction areas. Sounds fun. I want to go. Beyond all that, I am a channel and a medium. When I say medium, I channel and can see ghosts, spirits, angels, extraterrestrials, extra-dimensionals, elementals, and energetic beings. But guess what? I'm not special or unique. A number of us here today can do the same thing. Not all the voices that we hear in our heads are our own. Often it is difficult to differentiate between the two. One of my objectives here today is for someone who has never definitively broken through to the other side to make some kind of contact, and or someone who has broken through to the other side will achieve contact unlike they have ever before. Whether it occurs during my presentation or during someone else's, either today or tomorrow, this gift that the real God has lent to me in his lifetime, or this lifetime, is intended to be shared. I've taught others close to me how to make contact. I can teach us all how as well. Initiating the guided meditation. First, let's be clear. The room of any low energy. Let's clear it. Everyone join hands, and if there is no one in your proximity, then simply reach towards them. Now I'm taking us on a supernatural journey through a guided meditation to the other side of the multiverse and our consciousness. Whether open or close your eyes, it's up to you. Breathe in slowly and deeply, and exhale slowly. Breathe in universal God love, and exhale all lower energy. Breathe in God's love light, exhale the less. We ask that we in this room today all be surrounded and protected by God's loving light. Now everyone envision a circle of white light around each one of you, but also a protective circle around all of us collectively. See this God light in your mind passing through your crown chakra and matriculating down through all of your chakras, clearing them of any lower or stagnant energy. In effect, the universal God light is performing an energetic chimney sweep of the Divine Trinity that exists within all of us, our body, mind, and spirit. Now we will invite some of our star neighbors and star parents to join us. We ask that loving and benevolent angels and aliens join us and guard us against anything that is not of the light. I invite archangels, who really are the archaliens Gabriel, Michael, Raphael, and Emo, who can send their omnipotent God self or soul to assemble with us today and be part of our congregation. As we are starseeds sent here by our star elders, star parents, or maybe we were sent by our higher alien self from another dimension, we are all safe and secure within this protective circle of God light. Next, let's see if we can conjure up some spiritual and or extraterrestrial anomalous activity. Okay, you don't have to hold hands anymore. Something that is important to acknowledge is that ETs are in the room with us right now. We may not see them, although some of us can. They are literally in this room as we speak. But they are vibrating at a higher frequency, which makes them invisible to the naked human eye. Therefore, it is up to us to see through the veil by traversing our own body, mind, spirit to vibrate at a higher frequency, just like them, and see right into their higher dimension. Alright, show of hands, who here is an experiencer? All of us. Who here can see ghosts, angels, spirits, ultra-terrestrials, extra-dimensionals, and or extraterrestrials? Some of us. I can, and I love it. And thank the real God for lending me this gift, which is intended for me to share and help others learn in this lifetime. I see angels every day. I see ETs in my home, in my bedroom late at night, or even in my mind at least a few times a week or more. But guess what? I am not special or unique. We all can, and some of us even acknowledged it this evening. If you have never seen anything outside of our 3D Earth plane, I'm going to try to teach you how during my presentation. Select a nondescript point in the room, either on the wall or ceiling. Begin staring at it. Blink your eyes when necessary, but keep staring at it, and your mind focus on raising your vibration to a higher frequency. Remember your breathing as well. Breathe in God, release the less, and focus on that same spot. Now, if you see something, you more than likely will not see a human-like figure, although some of you may. Look for a bending of light, curious lights, an orb, maybe some oracle colors, or maybe even a geometric shape. Keep staring, keep staring, keep staring. Keep meditating on raising your vibration to a higher frequency so that you can see into the cosmic spirit realm where ET and their souls take residence. Keep repeating these steps over and over and over. Don't get frustrated and quit if you don't achieve immediate results. It took me many years of meditation to master this craft, although I've always had an incredible advantage. I've been able to see ghosts since I was a kid. Me too, brother. I'm going to move on to the rest of my presentation, but as I speak, keep a wandering eye out for anything anomalous or even an unidentifiable voice in your head. Please interrupt me if you see or hear something, and we'll all take notice of it. And that ended the guided meditation of my presentation. Chapter 2, The Visitation. The gist of the story. I've always wondered how gist was spelled, and now I know. So now we go on to the events the next day, on Saturday, August 29th, 2015, approximately 8 p.m. that evening. Allow me to paint a picture as a backdrop for my next segment. I can only speculate on how the visitors arrived, but perhaps it was like on Star Trek when Captain Kirk would be saying, "Beam us down, Scotty." I mentioned that 4 individuals teleport and materialize right in front of the double doors to the conference room. What happens next is not my imagination, but what I saw, plus what others said that they saw as well. Jennifer Stein had just wrapped up her introduction to Travis Walton's new documentary entitled Travis. Immediately after, a curious crew of 4 individuals came through the door and approached me with cash in hand, asking if I'm the one they pay to watch Travis. I quickly found Debbie Hewins, who located her twin sister, Audrey Starborn Hewins, the founder of Starborn Support International and the organizer of Experiencers Speak Forth, who ultimately collected their money. They then sat down maybe 20 feet in front of me. Later on, Audrey told me that it seemed they had no concept of paper currency and didn't realize how much they even had. They didn't even have enough money to cover all 4 of them for the event, but Audrey let them come in anyway. It seemed odd to her the way the leader of the group offered her the money. With both palms open, his hands side by side, the paper currency was simply laying in his hands. Audrey looked at him and could tell that he didn't understand our primitive monetary system. Audrey said to give her 4 of those, I'm assuming 20s, and then she let them in. At the time, I didn't think anything of it. Not too long into the Travis documentary, the youngest one got up and walked around one of the 8-person round tables and then sat back down. He must have repeated this behavior 6 or 7 times in the exact same fashion. At the conclusion of the documentary, Travis conducted a Q&A for maybe half an hour. Immediately following, the group of 4 approached me, and the oldest one wanted to talk. At this juncture, I'm going to give a short description of each. Don, which is spelled D-O-N, like Donald. The being I had the most interaction with, observed the most, and his appearance is burned into my memory. Don is the oldest being. He seemed grandfatherly. He identified himself as Don. He seemed to be about 60 or 65 years old in appearance. He was probably my height and weight, 5'9" and 165 pounds. He wore white sneakers, blue jeans, a nondescript flannel shirt, and a hat similar to a ball cap, but more like a fishing hat, Asian color. He pulled it curiously low over his face, glasses and eyes. In the breast pocket of his flannel shirt, he had what appeared to be sunglasses. He had the most prominently blue shade of skin of the group and unusually large ears. Sunny. The next visitor I called Sunny. I thought maybe he was Don's son. He looked to be in his mid-30s, was tall and thin, with blondish hair parted on the side. These two visitors had grayish-blue skin. The grandfather had more of a blue complexion than his son. Kid. There was another being I thought to be Don's grandson. I nicknamed him Kid. He was about 6'1" and wearing a hoodie, shorts, and sneakers. He was average height. He had dark brown or black hair, a fair to mild olive complexion, and black eyes void of any color. There's two big black empty spheres in his eye orbits. To me, he kind of looked like Jason Martell from the show Ancient Aliens, who is an accomplished researcher. The grandson came up to me standing in front of my vendor table, with Don and the others to my left, beside my table and in front of the conference room double door main entrance. At one point, the grandson then looked me in the eyes, ready to speak with me, and said, "The Anunnaki, the Anunnaki, the Anunnaki, the Anunnaki," over and over about 5 or 6 times, almost like a child that has autism. His behavior was that of someone who is mentally challenged. Ironically, in Travis Walton's or Grant Cameron's presentation, I got to meet Grant. He was pretty cool. I can't recall which one. There was a clip from the movie Rain Man where Dustin Hoffman saw a box of 250 toothpicks. It fell on the ground and he started saying, 246, 246, yeah, 246. Tom Cruise said that the box says 250. Rain Man kept saying 246, 246, 246. And he was correct. But the showing of the movie clip occurred before the 4 visitors arrived at the conference, so he couldn't have been imitating the behavior, and then took a deep, penetrating look at him and was astonished to realize that his eyes were completely black. They were absent of color and lifeless, without emotion, like he was biologically created and not born with a soul. This to me is reminiscent of the star children that have been seen all over the world, as well as the black-eyed children that people have encountered. They are often almost robotic in their speech and movements and can only recite a few short sentences over and over again. Ron Sharfy was one of the witnesses to the visitors, postulates that the grandson saying the Anunnaki over and over again could have acted as a trigger mechanism to place me in an altered state of consciousness with memory gaps. My belief is that his hypothesis may in fact be true. Right around that time, I started to have missing time and to forget what I was doing. I refer to this syndrome as ET, administering alien anesthesia, a phenomenon that has been reported by many abductees and experiencers. Mark. The 4th visitor, I was calling him the Martin Dude. But now that I'm giving them all names, I'm calling him Mark. He was 5 foot tall and at the most maybe 130 pounds, with a bald, white head, pale white skin, small tight-fitting sunglasses, and a goatee beard extending maybe 4 or 5 inches straight down from the bottom of his chin. He had no facial hair except for the black beard. I can't exactly remember his shoes, but I think they were moccasins. He had on blue jeans and a white sleeveless t-shirt. The effect of it all resembled a biker in appearance. Jane. Some of the other witnesses, Audrey Hewins, Keith Andrews, and others, out of the over 20 witnesses to the event, witnessed a large blonde woman wearing a sweater, who is apparently with a visitor. At no time did I see this person, and I am a key witness to this whole event, so I haven't figured out why my observations are different from others yet. However, I do believe she was present. I just never noticed her myself. Maybe I wasn't supposed to perceive her. From what I gather from Audrey and other witnesses, she accompanied them as they first entered the conference room. I did not see a woman. It was strange because I saw 4 beings and most people said 4. Many saw a woman, and I have been calling her Jane for reference. She too had blue skin and spoke with a Spanish or Mexican accent, according to Audrey. I think we're going to go ahead and cut it there. Hopefully we're not into our music break already. Nope. We have about 4 minutes. Okay, let's get through hers and then we'll go to break. Or we'll try to get through hers. We've got 4 minutes. We can do this. I'm including other people's accounts for this because I am not a direct witness to the woman in the group. The following story was told on the Storytime podcast with Bran and Dave, storytimepodcast@gmail.com. They had heard from Audrey Starborn, Hewins, what was said about the woman in the group. Audrey said to the term blonde to them, the blue beings referring to a woman that was with them. They reacted as if they did not know what blonde meant. Audrey saw a big blonde woman with them. Since we know that ET can shapeshift or can alter the perception of us humans, it's possible that different people were seeing a different configuration of aliens in the group. Alright, so we're gonna go to our first music break, and on this break we have Miss Tamara Bubble from the greater New York area, and we also have Fluid, and Fluid's going to be singing I Love It. Tamara Bubble's going to be singing Laundry, Cute Panties, Out the Mud, and then we have Griff with Best Life. You guys don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this music break.
I'm gonna live my best life. Don't care if my head ain't right. I'm gonna live my best life. Don't care if my head ain't right. I'm gonna live my best life. Don't care if my head ain't right. Do you and live your best life. Don't care if my head ain't right. Where you from? Who you with? Are you a blood? Are you equipped? I do my thing, stay legit. In this world, no one's innocent. VIP, get bottles. One snap of my fingertips. See these haters like blah blah blah, blah 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 blah, talking gibberish. I'm gonna live my best life. Don't care if my head ain't right. I'm gonna live my best life. Don't care if my head ain't right. I'm gonna live my best life. Don't care if my head ain't right. Do you and live your best life. Don't care if my head ain't right. Rolling and rolling and rolling SUV. Rolling and rolling and rolling with my homies. Rolling and rolling and rolling SUV. Rolling and rolling and rolling with my homies. I'm going to live my best life. Don't care if my head ain't right. I'm going to live my best life. Do you live your best life? Do you live your best life? Do you live your best life? I'm going to live my best life. Don't care if my head ain't right. I'm going to live my best life. Do you live your best life? Do you live your best life? Do you live your best life? I'm gonna live my best life. Don't care if my head ain't right. I'm gonna live my best life. Don't care if my head ain't right. I'm gonna live my best life. Don't care if my head ain't right. Do
washer. Hit the spin cycle till I come home. Don't worry where I'm at. I'm out here breadwinning, so don't hit my phone. Shoulda never gave you treats like that. You got a sweet tooth and won't leave me alone. And every time I try to get some sleep, I wake up cause you doing me wrong. Sneaking up under covers. Used to fight it, but I love it. Hate it that you got me weak, cause now we ruin all these sheets. Like who doing laundry? Who doing laundry? Who? You doing laundry? Who doing laundry? Who? You doing laundry? Who? You doing laundry? Ain't playing, think I'm playing. I'ma have you doing them dishes too. Better lick them plates clean, be grateful for this delicious food. Why you want no fours? What you scrubbing floors cause you want some more? But you like it dirty, you is so dirty, you like it dirty. Sneaking up under covers, used to fight it, but I love it. Hate it that you got me weak, cause now we ruin all these sheets. Like who doing laundry? Who doing laundry? Who? You doing laundry? Who doing laundry? Who? You doing laundry? Who? You doing laundry? Sneaking up under covers, used to fight it, but I love it. Hate it that you got me weak, cause now we ruin all these sheets. Like who doing laundry? Who doing laundry? Who? You doing laundry? Who doing laundry? Who? You doing laundry? Who? You doing laundry? First of all, I was sleeping. And second of all, why you creeping? Third of all up on me, rubbing like conditioner that you be trying to leave it. Relax, love, keep breathing. And I would say keep cleaning, but you like it dirty. You is so dirty. You like it dirty. Sneaking up under covers. Used to fight it, but I love it. Hate it that you got me weak, cause now we ruin all these sheets. Like who doing laundry? Who doing laundry? Who? You doing laundry? Who doing laundry? Who? You doing laundry? Who? You doing laundry? Get up on that washer. Hit the spin cycle till I come home. Don't worry where I'm at. I'm out here breadwinning, so don't hit my phone. Shoulda never gave you treats like that. You got a sweet tooth and won't leave me alone. And every time I try to get some sleep, I wake up cause you doing me wrong. Sneaking up under covers. Used to fight it, but I love it. Hate it that you got me weak, cause now we ruin all these sheets. Like who doing laundry? Who doing laundry? Who? You doing laundry? Who doing laundry? Who? You doing laundry? Who? You doing laundry? Sneaking up under covers. Used to fight it, but I love it. Hate it that you got me weak, cause now we ruin all these sheets. Like who doing laundry? Who doing laundry? Who? You doing laundry? Who doing laundry? Who? You doing laundry? Who? You doing laundry? Sneaking up under covers. Yeah, you like it dirty. You are so dirty. You like it dirty, yeah? Under covers. Yeah, you like it dirty. You are so dirty. You like it dirty, yeah? Yeah, bubble on that. Yeah, real cute. Underwear. To be honest, I don't really wear many. I don't even really rock panties. Let me be clear, I'm used to getting a few new big pair each year from my granny. Couple sexy ones that might come off, and I done had way too much Henny or drunk text go out. Like, come and eat the sweet juicy pie down there, I'ma go that route. But now, nigga, wrong song. I only need a couple of bars to turn you on. That's why I started mentioning that lingerie, but pull her to the studio with some long johns. This verse about to take a turn for the worse, and all them cute panties gonna be long gone. Cause the hating niggas that I wrote it for, they ain't afraid of wordplay, that's why they wrote this for. So I'ma drive them wild. Thinking one day they might hit all about my boy shorts, G-strings, slutty thongs, even put them edible pennies on the cover so they wonder how that bubble tastes. You can stay mad, be miserable, old, predictable, maybe not even applicable. But yeah, you typical. Check your mans if it ain't you, cause way too many queens rocking shades cause they eyes black and blue. Way too many dudes putting hands on the bra. That make you feel like a man. Mishandling a weaker vessel, yeah, you saw. Yo, look, it's way too many dudes only wanna spar. But ain't got no conversation, only wanna gossip when we call. Why I keep seeing these grown dudes out in the broad daylight like some broad? Why I keep seeing these dudes letting these girls fighting on the stopping to record? These little niggas online, the worst part, lame hoes got a squad. And all they do is dislike the females doing interviews with that nigga blog. I be like, come in, big boy, take off them drawers. I just came from shopping, let me slip you into something real soft. Prefer the lace of satin or the silk, cause some pretty little rolls they gon' hang off your balls. Look at you, sitting pretty, yeah. You the type that rock them cute panties, yeah. Come here, you cute. grown man, big boss, taking shots from a penthouse loft, talking trash, he making big calls. Yep, then again, that's only till his phone got off. Come again, yes, phone got disconnected, but don't worry, he be back online hating in a second. Back at the crib, remember she paid her phone and the rent. Squash a nigga vegetable soft. Now he souped up in my mentions on some vegetable broth. Leaving comment after comment, you that thirsty, drink vomit. I promise I ain't never seen nobody when had so much time to hate me. Be honest, is you mad at me? Or the fact that I'm grinding? It's a fact that I'm winning, son, I really be shining. Why you pressed on my diamond? You ready to swing on this little bitty girl, so don't tell me I'm lying. Way too many dudes putting hands on the broad. That make you feel like a man. Mishandling a weaker vessel, yeah, you saw. Yo, look, it's way too many dudes only wanna spar. But ain't got no conversation, only wanna gossip when we talk. Why kicks in these grown dudes, I get a broad data like some broad. Why kicks in these dudes, letting these girls fighting on the stop to record. These little niggas online, the worst part, lame hoes got a squad. And all they do is dislike the females doing interviews with that nigga blood. I be like, come in, big boy, take off them drawers. I just came from shopping, let me slip you into something real soft. You prefer the lace, the satin, or the silk, cause some pretty little rolls, they gon' hang off your balls. Look at you sitting pretty, yeah. You the type that rock them cute pennies, yeah. Come here, you're cute, yeah. Real cute, you hating on a female, cute, real cute. Why you mad we getting money? Maybe that's why you sag a lot, them punish out. Oh, by the way, cute pennies, bro, real cute.
Buckets back to back like I was Stefan. Better yet, I'm Dale Jackson, so don't treat me like the next man. And I'm kind of a real big deal, so don't be out here second guessing. Anyway, I make my pay and live this California lifestyle. Sunshine, loud packs, and chicks that love to get wild. That's how we do it every day. Slipping, sliding through the traffic on a mission for the day. Clearing marks about my way. Really got no time for y'all today. And all the craziness y'all talk, but never get your story straight. See me out here living great. I don't give a about how they hate. And when it comes to kicking game, I give you all that you can take. Trying to do it big, got no complaints. Every morning eating steak. They say I'm wrong for showing out, but I'ma do it anyway. Plus and thing ain't nothing, bitch, cause I can do it any day. And it don't matter where I go, I always represent the yay. I'm so in love with this lifestyle. Anything I want, I say the word, I get it right now. Boppers used to hate me, now they tell me I'm they tight now. Swagger through the roof, got everybody on my height now. So in love with this lifestyle. And I love it, and I love it, and I love it. So in love with this lifestyle. Anything I want, I say the word, I get it right now. See me, I'm out here getting it and loving how I live. Best believe if I do something, I'm a stupid, do it big. And this hustling is my gig, so don't you ask me what I stand for. Stacking while I'm macking, trying to earn myself a couple Lambos. Yeah, you know them toys for them big boys. Emperor of sorts and all you other players decoys. Meaning you're not the real deal. Keep an appetite for dollars that I never miss a meal. All you suckers need to chill. I'm just trying to stack a meal and pull the baddest bras around and let us show they sex appeal. Little bit of Netflix, then we chill. Lose them clothes, keep on them heels. Working like a 9 to 5 and go right back to chasing skrill. I bring that real, never that phony. BS, y'all be stressing, put it down just like an OG. Perform these cookies, take flight. Some of y'all just out here acting, I'm a boss in real life. I'm so in love with this lifestyle. Anything I want, I say the word, I get it right now. Boppers used to hate me, now they tell me I'm they tight now. Swagger through the roof, got everybody on my height now. So in love with this lifestyle. And I love it, and I love it, and I love it. So in love with this lifestyle. Anything I want, I say the word, I get it right now. Keep it more 100 than a C note. Hall of Fame spitting, representing with these pimp quotes. Don't try to front, you know this shit's dope. Question is, will I ever fail? My answer is no. I make this hustling look amazing. Put it down, doper than a blunt of purple hazing. Spicy on the mic, I bring the fire like a Cajun. Scoville, making haters sweat when I be blazing. Leaning to the side, haters everywhere. Yeah, I hear them talking, but they simply wasting air. Can't understand the reason that they stay in my affairs, but I'm major with my movements, getting money everywhere. I'm so in love with this lifestyle. Anything I want, I say the word, I get it right now. Boppers used to hate me, now they tell me I'm they type now. Swagger through the roof, got everybody on my hype now. So in love with this lifestyle. And I love it, and I love it, and I love it. So in love with this lifestyle. Anything I want, I say the word, I get it right now. So in love with this lifestyle. And I love it, and I love it. So in love with this lifestyle. Anything I want, I say the word, I get it right now.
Welcome back, and thanks so much for hanging out with me tonight on We Are Paradox Media's Late Night in the Rockies. So this evening, it is story time with me, TessaTNT, and we have been reading from Reverend John Polk's The Blue Beans, Visitation at the UFO Conference. I really like the artwork on the front of it. I can't remember who they said did it, but I like it a lot. Alright. Let's continue. Visiting with the visitors. As soon as Travis Walton wrapped up his Q&A, the four visitors got out of their chairs and approached me. Don began a dialogue with me. He was standing very close in my personal space, for some reason within inches of me, almost the whole time. After the fact, I spoke with Audrey Hewins of this visitor, and she said he told her his name was Don. Don initiated the conversation with me first by saying that his son, who looked more like his grandson by age appearance, had been drugged by his stepfather and was now in his custody. I replied by saying that I was happy for him and his son, that now he was with his real father and that he could take care of him and nurse him back to health. Ron then asked about my book, Yahweh, the Biblical God, is an Alien. I then explained it to him briefly, showing him a print copy, seeing if he wanted to buy a copy of the book. I also showed him on my Mac that the book was available as an ebook on my website, johnpolkmedia.com. His interest was lost shortly after that, as if God, the Earth, Bible, being an alien was old news across the Milky Way. I then did a demonstration of my pendulums and allowed the spirit force that pulses through me to spin them both at different rates simultaneously. This captured his interest briefly, then people were starting to surround us, and it seemed Dawn welcomed the attention. Then intense interest became an impromptu interview as conference attendees were spinning questions at Dawn. As I said before, my focus was soon redirected to the grandson, Kid, who came up to me standing in front of my table as Dawn was holding court with a small gathering crowd right there. That was exactly when the grandson then looked me in the eyes and said, Anunnaki, 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 over and over. Exactly then I forgot what I was doing. Alien anesthesia. What I experienced at that moment I refer to as an ET administering alien anesthesia. Some energy or hypnotic thought projection that makes people in those situations start to have missing time and forget or have a foggy recollection. It is a frequent aspect of alien encounters, as many experiencers will attest. Once you are placed under alien anesthesia, you remember only what the ETs want you to remember, and if you can remember anything at all. One thing you can try is to get a seasoned professional with years of experience with experiencers to perform a hypnotic regression. Many experiencers have gone that route to recall what happened to them. You can get some help finding an experiencer-friendly professional hypnotist through the free FREE organization mentioned before at experiencer.org. Alternatively, one can always entertain the possibility that you can slowly pop your alien memory cap. This is another phrase I have coined. I encourage people to be patient as well and not to expect the whole recall to come back to all at once. First, it will come to you like short movie scenes or video clips. Eventually, it may come back to you as a full 3 to 5 minute movie trailer. Educating yourself on other experiencer cases also helps. Your skin is blue. When I then returned my attentions back to Dawn, I noticed a crowd was now formed around us, and he looked comfortable and loose while talking and fielding questions. At this juncture, the Jedi mind trick they had laid on me is settling in deep, my eyes deeply fixated on Dawn's eyes, face, and skin color. I noticed that even his fingernails were gray. My eyes deeply fixated on Dawn's eyes, face, and skin color, I noticed, yes. At this juncture, I was posturing mentally to say out loud in front of everyone, "Your skin is blue." Keith Andrews, another witness to the ETs, beat me to it, though I couldn't remember that it was him at the time. Later, after speaking with Keith Andrews, he told me it was he that had said it, and Dawn went on to say, "I'm a shifter and a healer." Now Dawn was commanding everyone's attention. Keith then asked him if he was Palladian, and Dawn responded, yes. Keith then mentioned that he had come in contact with a Mortakian, aka Martian, in the past. It seemed to pique Dawn's interest. Dawn replied by saying something to effect, "Where and when did you see a Martakian, and why was one here, meaning on Earth?" Keith then asked Dawn if he could take a picture of him, and Dawn responded yes, but followed up by saying that he could not share it with anyone. Keith respectfully agreed. Keith did show some people the photo at Audrey Hewin's retreat at her parents' house after the conference, but he will not share the picture online. Okay, I guess that makes it okay then. Some people think that this is all a tall tale regarding the picture, however. I believe Keith, because multiple people saw it, including Audrey Lynn Hartstrom, Grant Cameron, and Dave Scott, host of Spaced Out Radio. It used to be weekend host on that show. Dave, a brilliant host, by the way, lives close to Keith in British Columbia, Canada. Dave did not attend the conference or the retreat, but did see the picture in Keith's phone. Oh, so it wasn't just people at the conference. I'm sure they met up personally. While Keith was speaking with Don, in the back of my mind, I was thinking to ask Don his name because at that point I had not yet found out his name until days later when I learned it from Audrey. I decided to try and take a picture and then follow them into the parking lot, just to see where they would go. How they had arrived, in a car, in a spacecraft. Mysteriously, I forgot to do all of the above. I was in some kind of awake state of paralysis. This also happened to Ron Sharfy, at least as far as I'm trying to take a picture of beings departing. Ron had been taking multiple photos and videos during most of the conference. Shortly thereafter, the other tall, thin, human-looking blue-skinned E.T. Sonny told that Don was feeling far too comfortable. He then said in his ear at least 2 or 3 times, "We have to go. We have to go." Right after the 4 or possibly 5 of them had departed, Keith Andrews said, "We just witnessed Pleiadians." Minutes later, Ron Sharfy went outside to take a phone call and saw a pulse of white light illuminate the sky over the hotel for a split second and then vanish. Ron interpreted this flash of light as a ship, space-time, vehicle, or vortex opening and closing. It seems the same pulse of white light was seen at Audrey's retreat at her parents' house following the conference. It was reported by witnesses to the after-conference social time that many paranormal things happened. Chapter 3, A Quest Begins. What parts are we playing? The thought that occurred to me once I returned home from the conference was, what part am I playing in this story? I noticed that the visitors approached me first upon entering the conference room, asking to pay to see Travis and his presentation. Later I found out that they approached Travis to tell him they came to see his presentation. Travis, according to Audrey Hewins, replied, "Are you enjoying the conference?" Don responded by saying that they just arrived. Visitors then found a seat about 15 to 20 feet in front of me. Immediately following the conclusion of Travis's Q&A, the visitors approached me again with Don initiating conversation with me. They stayed next to my table until they left the room. Travis was on the other side of the conference room, around a corner and out of visual range. Why the conversation with Don and I? A few weeks removed, it came to me that it seemed that they had already met and knew Travis. Perhaps they were the same beings who abducted him back in 1965 or 75 during his world-famous encounter in Arizona. I guess I'll never know. A few things that are clear to me is that the visitors knew exactly what time Travis's presentation was to begin, as they arrived just prior. Curious timing as how the conference's timetable was late by perhaps half an hour, which is typical for all-day events, yet the visitors were exactly on time. Approaching me asking to see Travis seemed very contrived. Yes, they wanted to see Travis's presentation, but in retrospect, I believe it was a ploy to get into the conference to see and speak with other experiencers, besides just Travis and myself. Otherwise, they would have walked up to Travis and opened up a dialogue with him only. Pondered over this quagmire for some time to arrive at the conclusion that they already knew and had visited with Travis. I don't know, but I'm convinced they had achieved some form of contact with Travis before. Now the conference is over. It's Sunday, August 30th, 2015, and I'm in Portland International Jetport awaiting my flight home to Orlando. Ironically, excuse me, there's a lady I met in the conference who was on my flight, at least for the first leg, before we each embarked on our connecting flights to our respective hometowns. I sat down next to her at the gate and sparked up a conversation. The first thing I asked her is, "Did you see the blue beings at the conference?" She said, "No," but then followed up by saying something to the effect that whenever she goes to UFO conferences, she always is on the lookout for ET because she knows they are always there. Right then, I flash back to a conversation that I had with Brett Colin Shepard, researcher in the area of lunar anomalies. I have frequent collaborative conversations with Brett and Karen Christine Patrick, my editor and publicist. They are research and life partners, but also both experiencers such as myself, so the conversations can be very lively. I remember he once said that a lot of human-alien hybrids out there don't even know that they are a hybrid and live life never knowing as long as they can blend in. Just then the lady I met at the conference asked me some bizarre question that I could not answer. It's funny because I can't even remember what it was now. It's almost like she did the Jedi mind trick on me and didn't even realize that she did it. After a semi-awkward few moments of silence, she got up and walked away from me for no apparent reason. She then deliberately stayed away from me at the gate, leaving me scratching my head and asking, why? Curious it was. After the fact, I had a grand epiphany that she was more than likely an experiencer that was a hybrid herself, and she didn't realize it. Interestingly, she lived close to Black Mountain in North Carolina, which is a hotspot for UFO activity. The military connection. One thing is at stake in the popular idea of disclosure. We're not told about all of the visitors coming to this planet because they, in this case, being our secret military, have always been uncomfortable with the idea of everyday people knowing what ET tech they are playing with. I got reminded of this abruptly by an encounter right after the conference. On the second leg of my flight home, I sat next to a very distinguished gentleman who worked for a major defense contractor that I will leave nameless. We opened a dialogue about his family and travels, and I slowly changed the subject to focus more on his work. Ironically, I run into defense contractor engineers all the time for whatever reason, especially on airplanes. I wonder why, knowing he can't divulge top secret information, technology, etc., I asked him how their experiments with zero-point energy and anti-gravity envelopes were progressing. I always say something to this effect to the defense contractors to test their nonverbal reactions, since I know they can't say anything. He clammed up after that, but based on his facial expressions, I knew I encroached upon some highly sensitive territory. I finished by stating, I figured out your tells, which gave you away. You didn't have to say anything for me to know that I am right. He never spoke another word to me for the balance of the flight. This encounter likely planned. I think this entire maneuver by the ETs was completely and totally planned, premeditated, and orchestrated by a collective group of higher consciousness beings that I'm only beginning to understand. Some higher power directed the visitors in this encounter not only for Travis Walton, Keith Andrews, Audrey Starborn Hewins, all the witnesses, attendees, and myself, but for the entire human race. This event was deliberately staged to provoke a reaction out of all of us involved, knowing that it would change our lives forever and that we would talk about it, write books about it, and share it with the masses via radio, TV, and internet. I put forth the theory that this landmark event is one of the incremental baby steps towards disclosure. I also am guided to think that all of us who witnessed the visitation, but more specifically, Those of us who spoke to the beings like Travis and Audrey, or those who even touched them like Keith Andrews and I, were chosen long before this event for many reasons. Now, as an empathic medium who can summon ET, I'm digging deep into my subconscious and traveling far to the other side for answers. I'm seeking the answers to the most obvious questions. Who are they? Where did they come from? Are they really from the 80s, like Dawn said? And which planet specifically? What does it mean? After this extraordinary experience, I decided to open my mind to receiving information telepathically from Don and his friends. The channeled messages I have been getting could be just for me and perhaps from me. Maybe, but not necessarily meaningful to anyone else, but I think that my being there at the time was important beyond just my having yet another amazing episode of my life as an experiencer. I feel I was chosen for contact by ET for many reasons, including 1. I can see and communicate with not only spirits, but extraterrestrials as well. 2. I am a light worker with honest and just intentions who shares the godlight with everyone. 3. I am unmarried with no children. I don't have to worry about repercussions that a wife and kids may have to deal with once this type of story goes viral. 4. ET knows that I am not shy or afraid to speak up and speak out regarding this encounter. They want me to be outspoken. 5. They know I'd be proactive through mass media, TV, radio, and internet in disseminating this story. 6. They know that I'm an incredibly powerful and protected conduit to get this information out to the public. I am one of many oracles placed on this planet. 7. I made a soul contract with these ETs for this event to happen to me and others before I was born, not only for this stage of my life, but at this stage of our planetary development. 8. An ET Council, perhaps an intergalactic federation, has chosen me and others as instruments deemed necessary to bring about a new age of enlightenment that our Earth so desperately needs. 9. This global landmark event to me is a part of soft disclosure where the information is meted out slowly and requires much more information and attention. 10. They know I am willing to die for this cause. God forbid if something happens to me or if I get arrested for anything, period. Powers that be are responsible, not ET. 11. I am led to believe that Yahweh, who is Enlil of Anunnaki, who opposes God in Judeo-Christian religions, sent Dawn and these otherworldly beings to me, to everyone at the conference, and to everyone else who hears of this real-life extraterrestrial encounter. 12. I cherish the fact that I'm not the only one involved here in my experience. My guided meditation to help people to see other dimensions always works. Just rarely blessed by having multiple witnesses that can offer true testimony to any otherwise unbelievable encounter. A UFO validation. On November 4th, 2015, around 5:30 p.m., I was sitting on my front porch with a very limited view of the sky due to all the trees and bushes that blanket my front yard. Meditating as deeply and powerfully as I am able, I began praying and sending telepathically to Dawn and the visitors. My vision was pulled to look almost straight up, as if an otherworldly force was guiding me to do so, and I saw a commercial airplane flying overhead. As I watched the craft flying overhead, I was then compelled to resume my meditation and telepathically transmit to visitors. Suddenly, I spotted an unidentified flying object headed right for the commercial aircraft, but at a speed probably twice as fast. I'm now thinking that I'm going to witness a mid-air collision with imminent fatalities involved. At the last second, the UFO did a 180-degree turn in the opposite direction, which is impossible by modern-day aircraft. What I had just witnessed was a deliberate attempt to capture my attention so that I would receive this encounter as a symbol and a sign from Dawn and the visitors. Positive influence. This encounter that 20-plus witnesses and myself experienced has changed my life as a positive forever. I thank God every day that I am privileged enough to meet extraterrestrials face to face and have a conversation with them. I have encountered ETs my whole life, but never in a social situation with multiple witnesses. With just a few exceptions, ETs visit me while I'm by myself or abduct me with no witnesses. These visitors came in peace and wanted to be seen and heard, knowing that we humans would talk and write of this extraordinary event. In my estimation, this close encounter is one of the most remarkable in human history for a whole host of reasons. 1. Over 20 witnesses saw and or spoke with Don, the Pleiadian, and his ET friends. 2. Don, the apparent leader of the visitors, wanted to be seen and heard by multiple people, especially Keith Andrews, Audrey Hewins, and myself. 3. Don wanted us to have a conversation with him and ask questions, especially Keith and myself. 4. Multiple ETs appeared in the hotel lobby during the UFO conference. Even guests at the hotel who had no interest or knowledge of our conference saw these blue beings. Some mentioned it to the front desk personnel and management. This has to be one of the most overt acts by extraterrestrials demonstrating that they wanted to bring attention to themselves. Tell me a more visible case, if you can. I'd love to read all about it. Other questions and quandaries arise. Imagine talking to someone for 7 to 10 minutes before you realize that their skin is blue. Why did it take me so long to allow this otherworldly experience to sink in? I think it's because Don and his supernatural superiors who orchestrated this whole encounter planned on it. They knew if I was immediately cognizant of their off-world pigmentation, every part of this episode would have unfolded differently. I would have aggressively interacted with them and taken pictures and videos. They didn't want that. 1. I can remember the second that he knew that I knew Don, was E.T. It finally dawned on me, get it? Just kidding. But his skin was blue. We made eye contact and it seemed like a long period of time as my mind was finally understanding the fact that I had been speaking to a blue, human-like, shape-shifting healer from a star in the Pleiades star cluster. Astrally traveling from his eyes, his soul merged with mine as he soaked into the vast depths of my soul forever. Looking into his eyes, I journeyed into a time capsule, frozen in the moment. 2. Was this ET encounter not just for me, but for everybody involved? Part of the contract with the universal God consciousness? I say yes. Something this extraordinary will change your life forever for good or something else. For me, it's totally positive so far, but to date, it's still largely unknown by the mainstream, which will subject me to malicious debunkers once it goes public. I look forward to it, as they say, bad press is better than no press. Number 3. Why didn't Audrey come back over to talk to the ETs or even to get another look at them when she knew they were ETs? We should ask her. Audrey made the conscious decision a long time ago to dedicate her life to ET and UFO research. Here, the chance of a lifetime presents itself to see, interact, and actually talk with ETs. This makes no sense unless the ETs blocked her from doing so. How come nobody has launched an investigation into the miracle encounter? There were multiple MUFON members and even directors that attended the conference. Once again, another blockage. 5. What were the serial numbers on the paper notes of the American currency given to Audrey by Dawn? Why did it not occur to her to hold on to these paper notes and have them examined? Where did they acquire the money in the first place? Did they have a stash of different currencies on their spaceship, or did they magically manifest the cash? That'd be nice. I'd like to do that. 6. Where did they get the clothes they were wearing? Do they have a wardrobe on their ship of different clothes for multiple cultures or our planet and others? Their clothes allowed them to fit in until witnesses discovered the color of their skin, or the colors or holographic physical manifestation of them that translate into our 3D Earth plane. 7. Travis Walton's presentation was about 30 minutes behind schedule. How did the ETs know and show up just in time before Travis's presentation began? Were they already there and just came in at the last minute? 8. Were all 4 ETs of the same alien origin? The 2 blue skins are, the other 2. Were they hybrids? Were they of other Star Nation origin? 9. Audrey and others mentioned the big blonde woman who accompanied them. Curious that I never saw her at any time, although I do believe she made an appearance. Doesn't that count? 5 total ETs? How come everyone is either saying 2 or 4 or 5? 10. I have experienced ET visitations my whole life. How come it has taken me so long to finish writing this portrayal? I have many occasions where I fully intend to write of this miraculous encounter and couldn't even bring myself to turn on my computer. My best guess is I'm being blocked because the timing is not right, not yet. Blocked by who? What? Or even myself. 11. Travis Walton, the most famous alien abductee perhaps in human history, will not issue a statement regarding this event. Why? A number of months after the Blue Beings event, the Blue Beings made their appearance. A friend of mine had a dialogue with Travis at a UFO conference. After chatting with him for a bit, she asked him about the Blue Beings at the Experiencers Speak For conference. He clammed up, and by way of his nonverbal communication, he made it abundantly clear that he would not talk about it. Once again, why? A number of possibilities enter my mind. A. After all the attention and scrutiny that Travis received going back to his world-famous abduction in 1975, maybe he didn't want to go through all of that again. If so, I understand why. If he did speak up and speak out about this encounter, he'd be thrust back into the spotlight. Maybe that's the last thing he wants. However, he's been on tour speaking at UFO conferences all across the country to share about his new documentary on DVD entitled Travis. B. Perhaps the ETs or their governing council did the Jedi mind trick on Travis to keep him from talking. Let's face it, if Travis made a big deal and went public about meeting extraterrestrials at a UFO conference where there were over 20 witnesses, the story would have gone hyper-viral by now. Maybe ET didn't want that. At least, not now or not yet. C. I thought I heard that a number of years ago Travis was offered a significant amount of money to keep his mouth shut over his 1975 abduction, and Travis declined the proposition. Who offered him the money? I'm sure he can't say who or what it was. Maybe the powers that be approached him and told him to stay silent regarding the Blue Beings, or something could happen to his family. I'm only speculating. Travis should be highly respected in the experiencer movement for his willingness to continue to share his story with the world. He already has exhibited courage under fire for speaking his truth. It's interesting that the ETs came specifically during his talk. That is a point to ponder. The beings visiting that day definitely knew who Travis Walton was. I believe. Chapter 4, The Witnesses. Witnesses to the visitors. There were numerous witnesses at the event. It has to be noted that this was an event with a room full of seasoned experiencers, people who have had ET contact, been abducted, and been visited in a myriad of ways. This event is one of the conferences considered a family reunion of sorts. In the room also were accomplished researchers in the area of contact and UFO casework. What is perplexing is that most of the witnesses to this event either won't speak out about it or have changed their story for fear of, I'm not sure. Maybe E.T. did the Jedi mind trick on them to wipe the slate, leaving them void of the memory. A number of witnesses have been deliberately kept from my knowledge by individuals that I will leave nameless. Therefore, the following list is a partial list of witnesses that can best assemble myself due to limited cooperation. As this true account gains and receives more attention, I trust that more witnesses will surface to substantiate the story. Audrey Starborn Hewins, Debbie Hewins, Travis Walton, Ron Sharfie, Keith Andrews and his wife Angela, Lynn Hartram, Rachel from the Weebly Time podcast, John Polk, myself. Later it was revealed on UFO-based internet radio shows that Grant Cameron and Ed Baker were attendees who had heard of the visitation at the time. 9/11/15. One witness, Keith Andrews, talked about what he saw on the Storytime podcast, which is storytime.weebly.com, with Bran and Dave. Keith Andrews. Their skin was fluid. In other words, their pigmentation moves. Upon touching their hands, as if with a handshake, their pigment moved. Their pigment moved like mercury. Touching them was accompanied by what almost felt like an electric charge. Don made it clear that he didn't want his photo spread all over the internet. Keith offered to send him a copy of the picture over Facebook. Keith asked Don if he was Pleiadian. Don responded yes. When Keith welcomed him, Keith mentioned he met a Martokian. Keith says a Martokian is a Martian. He says that we call the red planet Mars, but that actual Martians call it Martok. Don started asking where was he, when did it occur, and why was he on Earth? Audrey Hewins also talked about her encounter. Audrey said the term blonde to them, the blue beings, referring to a woman that was with them. They reacted as if they did not know what blonde meant. Audrey saw a big blonde woman with them who could have been Don's wife or an ET posing as his wife. They went over to Travis Walton's table and Travis wanted to question them about their skin color, but he didn't. Travis asked how they were enjoying the conference, and they responded that they had just gotten there. The hotel workers and patrons sent messages to the hotel asking why there were blue beings in the lobby. Audrey Hewins, 9/2/15, emailed me and said they were ET, comfortable enough to not be indisguised, and there for a reason. More soon, exciting times heading in now. Eee! Audrey Hewins, 09/03/15, emailed me and said the vendors with the orgone were there to activate the energy, stabilize, and prepare the areas for ET arrival and comfort. Smiley face. Interview with Jimmy Church. The following transcript is Audrey Hewins' direct quotes from Jimmy Church show, Fade to Black, January 27, 2016. Audrey and I were guests on this show. Can be heard at YouTube, INWISJW1ASA. The numbers are time markers on the recording. 1 hour, 6 minutes, and 36 seconds. Audrey Starborn Hewins. The lights dimmed and I was sitting with Travis and my sister. I see her waving me over and she's kind of like in this panic, and I was like, alright, I've got to get up and deal with this. So I walked over and she's like, There are 4 people who are trying to come in that haven't paid, and the person at the door isn't there. So I said, all right, I'll handle it. And I walk over and I see these people, and they are very confused. And this is what really struck me was, the guy who seemed to be in charge. At least he thought he was. I think the woman behind him was more in charge than he was, but he had his hands open like he was holding a book open with a bunch of money in it, and he really didn't understand what to do with the money, and that's what really caught me off guard. And so I said, okay, maybe he's got vision problems, so let's pull him into the other part of the room, which had some lighting. So I brought them over into the light, and that's when I realized that they were very different, and their skin was 10804. Jimmy interjects saying, I didn't know what the money even was, right? I mean, 1 minute, 1 hour, 9 minutes, 16 seconds. Audrey. The woman behind him seemed like it was definitely his wife or partner, because she was just trying to tell him what she didn't even know. Audrey then says to the visitors, okay, calm down, there's 4 of you. I'll take 4 of those bills, and at this point, I didn't want to say that's a 20, that's a 5, that's a 1. I didn't have time for that kind of class, There's 4 of you, give me 4 of those, the woman said. Yeah, give her 4, give her 4. 10950. Audrey. What it was. And it was so funny to see them. And then apparently they walked over to Travis's table, and they had to go to the front of the room where the movie was being presented, and then take a left over to where Travis's table was, and Travis said they walked right over to him, and he was looking at them, and he knew something was odd, and he kind of started making some small talk with them. 11023. Audrey said, Travis said this to be the Blue Beings. How are you enjoying the conference? Blue Beings, told by Aubrey, they informed him, Travis, that they kind of just got there. 11029. Audrey. And Travis told me that he resisted the urge to ask them why were they feeling so blue today. That would have been a good line right there. 11039. Jimmy interjects. Travis will tell you exactly what's on his mind. I'm surprised he did hold back because, he'll go there. 11107. Jimmy. So when you bring them into the light and you started to describe what you were seeing, what did you see? 11126. Audrey. When they came into the light, he held his hands out to me. I could actually see his skin was blue. It was this beautiful, hard to explain, it was like translucent. It wasn't pulling out the creases in the elbows. It wasn't pulling around any hair follicles, so it was obviously not paint. It was very translucent when he kind of moved. The color almost shifted, and the only thing I can describe it as, if you remember, like back in the 80s, there were these stickers that were filled with fluid, and if you touched them, they'd kind of disperse, and the colors would change. That was almost like what the skin was doing while he was moving. And I looked up and saw that the woman had the same color. The other two, there was just something really off about them, and I don't know what it was. The energies were just like maxing me out. Oh my god, this is crazy. Intense, and I know the energy because I've been an experiencer all of my life. The Pleiadians, I started to have contact with in 2004 when they actually saved my life. In Daytona, Ormond Beach, when I was drowning, so, that was the actual first time I saw a human-like ET. I didn't even know they existed when they left. I was just kind of, disoriented, I guess, and kind of trying to ground myself again, and it kind of just went away. I don't even remember what I did after that. Kind of really strange. It didn't even come up again until the next day, which was really odd too. 11337. Jimmy. What was their speech like? What do they talk like? 11345. John. If you were blindfolded and they were talking to you and you didn't have the benefit of seeing them, you'd assume that you were just talking to another human being. 1:14:24, Audrey. Those are the only two I spoke with, Dawn and the woman. The woman had an accent, I thought maybe Spanish or Mexican, but he didn't say a whole lot because, like I said, she was kind of overpowering, taking over like, oh, this is what you do. But he did say thank you. 1:15:45, Audrey. A few days later, the hotel management called and he said, look, I really have to ask you something, Audrey. The hotel keeps getting emails and phone calls and patrons wondering why there were 4 blue people in our lobby. And these were just people who were coming to the restaurant or people staying at the hotel who weren't involved with the conference. At least 10 people called the hotel asking what was going on. 1:21:55, Jimmy. What did Travis have to say after they left? 1:22:05, Audrey. Travis said, they came over. It was just small talk. He was looking at their skin and he could see, really close. They were picking up his movie and his book and he was watching them. He said it was their skin color and not a paint, and it was obviously that way. 1:45:19, Jimmy. Wasn't Peter Robbins there too as well? He told me about this originally too as well. 1:47:47, John. Our Keith Andrews offered me a quote that I shared on the show. So when I went to talk with them, I noticed their pigmentation was fluid. I asked the one gentleman, Don, I hope you don't take this offensively, but are you by any chance Pleiadian? And his reaction was yes. Don told me they were shifters and that they were healers. Don said that they could control their pigmentation and that I mentioned to him that he had run into a Martokian, which is a Martian, a few years back. Don asked why would a Martokian be here, and why would they communicate with you? And when the Pleiadians left the conference room, they didn't even make it to the front door of the hotel. They faded out of existence halfway across the lobby. Working to a witness, we have over 20 to date. We found out that Don and his people arrived the same way by simply materializing in the lobby. (1:53:28) Jimmy. You're right about the Jedi mind trick thing. 2:09:40. Kate Lowry calls into the show. Hi, this is Kate Lawler of Helena, Montana. I've heard a lot of talk about the blue people that were how experiencers speak, and I happen to be one of the people that saw a blue man photograph go through the timeline. Well, I was kind of following the conference. I couldn't make it this year, so I was following on Facebook, and I saw the blue man photographed, and it was going through the timeline. And my first reaction not being there was that maybe it was somebody who dressed up for the conference. So that was my first reaction, and then I thought I saw it wink at me, which I thought was really weird. I thought maybe it's a stunt. And then I thought that maybe I'll share this photograph, and I thought, no, I'm going to wait and see what the posts are on it. So the next thing I know is he disappeared, but I understand one other person saw that photograph. 2:11:08. Jimmy. Kate, what did you see? Describe it to me. 2:11:12. Kate. I just saw one blue man. I didn't see the other beings. I saw one blue man and it looked like a human person, but it had a very blue skin and kind of bald. I don't recall I saw it had her hair. I can't remember seeing had her hair. 2:12:29. Jimmy. Keep saying Jedi mind trick, but with all those normal things we would normally do, shoot a videotape, take a picture, go up, touch, take a close look, none of that stuff happened. 2:12:44. Jimmy. Everybody that I know that was at the conference told me about this, and these are people that I know and trust, and it definitely happened. Why would none of the other stuff that would go along with it? I know Tom Reed. Tom Reed is a cool guy, and Tom Reed's not scared. Okay, so for people like this not to go up and do the normal things that they would do in a situation like this is fascinating to me. It just didn't happen. 2:13:15. John. Audrey is chiming in right now. Audrey was texting me during the show. about what you just said to Kate, and what Audrey is saying is that it wasn't Keith's photo. It was one that she had seen from one of them in the background. So it had come from somebody else. It didn't come from Keith. We searched for the pic and couldn't find it ever again, so maybe a ghost in the machine removed it? 2:14:25. Dino calls in. First contact in the desert, there were reports of a guy in a large black hat walking the desert. The YouTube video we've all seen that seems to be from a legitimate hotel camera of two men in black, and they don't look human. Later, people complained about seeing these strange men. Do you have a feeling that they wanted you to know they were there? Do you have a feeling that they wanted something from you? 2:15:23. Dawn. I would say that they absolutely wanted us to know that they were there. If you ask me, myself, Audrey, Keith, and certain other people were chosen to be able to interact with ETs the way that we did, and to be able to have an open congress and discussion with them. They wanted to be seen. They knew that we were going to be outspoken about this. They knew we were going to go on radio shows. They knew that we were going to be on Jimmy Church's show tonight. 2:16:40. Audrey texted me again. Why would they not participate in something they helped to orchestrate? 2:17:18. Dino calling. That's what some of the Foddernauts, fans of Jimmy's show Fade to Black, are saying on chat, that this might be another part of self-disclosure. 2:21:01. Jimmy, you're a magnet and have never done the CE5 channel thing. I've never had it done. Can you do that for us up in Big Bear Lake, California? Was home to the Alien Snowfest conference that Jimmy and I attended February 5, 6, and 7, 2016. And will something happen? John, I can not only do it, but I can teach you how to do it. What I can do is script it, and I can just give you a script, and anybody else who wants the script for free. On that note, boys and girls, we are going to our second music break. On this break, we have Rift from Toronto, Canada, with Zoo, and Let Freedom Ring. Then we have Prime Example, featuring Miss Carolyn Giles with Dancing Machine, Hammer Bubble with Pringles, and I'm It, Natural Born Winner. You guys don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this music break.
Know the land, but you can't read. Know the land, but you can't read. Know the land, but you can't leave. You can't leave. You're right where you wanna be. That is right here with me. You're right where you wanna be. Right with me. You can be anything you want. If that's what you really want. You can be anything you want. All I want to do right now is leave this room. All I wanna do. All I want to do right now is leave this room. For good, I'm wasting time. Not trying to lose my mind. Know that I am wasting time. Not trying to lose my mind. If you want, get left behind. In this rat race, go back to my place where I know it's safe. And lock myself in my room. Won't watch the news, cause it is a zoo. So confused. What can I do if I lose you? All I want to do right now is leave this room. All I wanna do. All I want to do right now is leave She was a loompa loompa, now her body super duper. Getting a lot of attention she was never used to. Hitting me up like I was Uber. Got a few miles, so I guess she's a cougar. Be a winner, never seen her with a loser. Gorilla talk, ooga booga booga. Scuba, tuba, diver, I'm a rider. Getting cider, sweet like cider. Fighter, fighter, rider. Neither wants to get it going. Know it, hold it, fold it, blow it. Wait, I'm joking. Cages broken from these beasts. From down east on the streets, it's a zoo. All I want to do right now is leave it soon. All I wanna do. All I want to do right now is leave it soon. Oh, God. here's the scoop. You can still be a slave, you're whipped and loop. That's the truth. Got big houses, nice cars, that's real cute, but it doesn't mean nothing. You ain't free to choose. When I say free to choose, no alarm clock, don't gotta hit the snooze. The world is backwards, I'm so confused. They say freedom of speech, but when you speak your mind, they blow a fuse. Just being honest, common sense and common. It's kind of ironic. My freedom, recently bought it. Now I'm a target if I do the wrong thing or say the wrong thing. Come on, man. Let freedom ring. Yeah. United States become divided states. The world is filled with all kinds of shades, and still resegregate. Parents separate from the children, that's not okay. We should be free to laugh and play. Do it now before you pass away. Fight for what's right, enough for everybody to get a piece of the pie. Brainwash, social media full of lies. Go to work, pay bills, then you die. Need a breakaway, guns, get rid of the AKs. Our ancestors paved way since the slave days, but we still hurting. Carry that burden. Stop playing victim. Beat the system. Love is love. It should be shown. Can't grow unless you leave your comfort zone. This I know. I learned all this from the mentorship. Kids don't know what independent is. Take advantage what your parents did. Go against the grid. You have to. Like going to the bathroom. Learn the right songs. Cause of Matthew. Liberty like statue. They call now the present. Cause it's a gift. It should be cherished. Last name fearless. Not Harris. All thanks to my parents' parents. Now, love the last name every time that I hear it. Cause I know what it represents. Climb the fence. So now I got freedom. Such a beautiful thing. Freedom. Such a wonderful thing. Freedom. Such a beautiful thing. Freedom. Such a wonderful thing.
We been poppin' like
Pringles in the can. All the money really got me dancing. Pringles in the whip. I be stacking them chips like Pringles in the can. All the money really got me dancing. Big baby money grip. I be stacking them chips. Pringles in the can. All the money really got me dancing. Pringles in the whip. I be stacking them chips like Pringles in the can. All the money really got me dancing. Big baby money grip. I be stacking them. I ain't never been afraid of a strange beat. New track from the crates, but the same me. Lights on, bills paid, bring the same heat. Couldn't picture me spend the same unless you bring me. Low key, humble brag, never change me. New money coming in, the bank's changing. The quarters to dollars to checks every hour. That money come in when I sleep or I shower. That's motivation, that dedication. I can see my dreams, I'm already chasing. That bezel clean, and watch me embrace it. I'm a single girl that already taken like a stick-up kid. They already shaking. Old Harlem, Brooklyn, being known for break-ins. Bubble on deck, being known for caking. Stacking and saving and move up out the hood money. This that, we been eating good money. This that, really wish you would, homie. This that, see you laughing but broken funny. So get about the hood, homie. rentals over here, dummy. And no, they don't really think that we own it. We been poppin', look on. Love the money, but the money live a long time and on. Yeah, them bills, so got the money with my own girl. That pull up out the hood money. This that, we been eating good money. This that, really what you would, homie. We been poppin' like Pringles in the can. All the money really got me dancing. Pringles in the whip. I be stacking them chips like Pringles in the can. All the money really got me dancing. Big baby money grip. I be stacking them chips. Pringles in the can. All the money really got me dancing. Pringles in the whip. I be stacking them chips like Pringles in the can. All the money really got me dancing. Big baby money grip. I be stacking them. I ain't never been afraid of investing. I'm talking more than dice games and I'm scratch offs. Lottery jackpots and $100 million. So who you think they making money on the backs of? Ain't no gambling today. Ain't no gambling with my money that I built up. Got my money strong, yeah, my money long. It's my money song. Not one business, but no business. Natural growth, I mean no business. New growth like my natural hair. Yeah, I'm 10 toes down in the show business. Like back up, boss, man. Ain't no move around, no business. Bring the track up with the tracks out in the booth. Way steady running your mind, talking this and that. But it's that, move up out the hood money. This that, we been eating good money. This that, really what you would, homie. This that, see you laughing, but broken funny. So get up out the hood, homie. Ain't no rentals over here, dummy. And no, they don't really think that we own it. We been poppin', look on. Love the money, but the money live a long time and on. Yeah, them bills, so got the money with my own girl. That move up out the hood money. This that, we been eating good money. This that, really what you would, homie. We been poppin' like Pringles in the can. All the money really got me dancing. Pringles in the whip. I be stacking them chips like Pringles in the can. All the money really got me dancing. Big baby money grip. I be stacking them chips. Make way for the bubble. Right. Bubble on deck. I said, look. Hard to hear it. What's up? Look. Watch out, little homie. Watch out. I'm seeing it, loving it, feeling it, breathing it. Saying it, doing it, running it, barely. I'm a natural winner. I'm the one that you invite to meet your parents for dinner. Cause I can take a couple L's and I'ma bounce right back. Just so you and all your friends can hit the bounce like that. Cause I'm seeing it, loving it, feeling it, breathing it. Saying it, doing it, running it, barely. I'm a natural winner. I'm the one that you invite to meet your parents for dinner. Cause I can take a couple L's and I'ma bounce right back. Just so you and all your friends can hit the bounce like that. Cause I'm your favorite rapper. And I ain't in the suit, but I'm looking dapper. When I ain't in the booth, yeah, I'm still gon' snap it. Homie, you ain't gotta lie, cause it's the truth we after. And I'm without the beef for the clout. I'm the one you shouldn't believe the rumors about. Spitting and giving you brain tumors and zoomer lessons. Mover and a shaker with the flow. Soon as I pop you toes. If you had any ego or ego, let go. If you had any doubt about me, just know I'm pleasing to the ears and the eyes and the throat. And I ain't giving you no more detail till we talk pillow. I ain't nowhere close to my greatness. I don't do all that boasting, just make hits. Yo, I don't do all that posting, naked pics for likes, and I ain't make this up, I can't fake this. Seeing it, loving it, feeling it, breathing it. Saying it, doing it, running it, barely. I'm a natural winner. I'm the one that you invite to meet your parents for dinner. Cause I can take a couple L's and I'ma bounce right back. Just so you and all your friends can hit the bounce like that. Cause I'm seeing it, loving it, feeling it, breathing it. Saying it, doing it, running it, barely. I'm a natural winner. I'm the one that you invite to meet your parents for dinner. Cause I can take a couple L's and I'ma bounce right back. Just so you and all your friends can hit the bounce like that. Cause I'm a lover and a fighter and a giver and a pleasure and pain and boss deliver it out. Yeah, I make this look real easy. Everybody hate Chris, but I'ma win like breezy. But I started later on the way to the top and can't stop, so don't push not one button on this elevator. They try to push my buttons to start levitating, rise above it all. I can tell that you fake when you're shaking my hand, and the smile on your face shows me even you're greeting and meeting and love is hating. I'm actually amazing, but modestly saying I ain't waiting for cosigns or playlists, cause I ain't nowhere close to my greatness. I don't do all that boasting, just make hits. Yo, I don't do all that posting, naked pics for likes, and I ain't make this up, I can't fake this. Seeing it, loving it, feeling it, breathing it. Saying it, doing it, running it, barely. I'm a natural winner. I'm the one that you invite to meet your parents all your friends can hit the bounce like that. Cause I'm seeing and loving and feeling and breathing it. Saying it, doing it, running it, being lit. I'm a natural born winner. I'm the one that you invite to meet your parents for dinner. Cause I can take a couple L's and I'ma bounce right back. Just so you and all your friends can hit the bounce like that. Cause I'm the one you gon' call when you're lonely. I'm the new girl on the block, you gon' show off to your homies. I'm telling you now, we gon' vibe in the booth. How you crave another feature like I'm your sweet tooth. All my people wanna see me shine, but I don't pray for you to fall, cause I don't play with karma. When I slide through, it's gon' be bad timing. Like, watch out, little homie, watch out. I'm
Welcome back. Thanks so much for hanging out with me, TessaTNT, tonight for story time with me, TessaTNT. And yeah, I thought we were going to finish the book pretty quickly. Font is smaller than I thought it was, so I'm wanting to stretch it out a bit. We have 38 minutes and 30 seconds to go. So I figured, let's do a creepy video. What do you think? Right. I'm just checking out which one I should do. I have 3 pulled up. We have 38 minutes and seconds and counting. Let's go ahead and do this one. This is Alone in a Mental Asylum, Ghost Child Still Here. And this is by Franko TV. If you haven't seen Franko TV, you need to check out Franko TV. This guy is amazing. Man, I can't. No. The way he goes in there and just does it alone to me is insanity. But yeah, he's super brave. Mr. Franco from Florida. He's been going to like Argentina and Colombia and man, so many places in South America. But yeah, let's get into it, shall we? Oh yeah, let me make sure I turn off the speaker on this so we don't have a horrible echo. Right, y'all ready? Y'all ready for this? Uh-oh. Franco TV Adventures. Hey, look, everybody, it's a Franco. I'm just not brave enough. I'm not. This guy's got a huge pair of cojones. I'd say. And I believe this came out the 2nd of March, so it's a little dated, but not a lot. Look, I am your father. Well, that bed looks extra comfy. Let's go. What the heck? It's got to be some sort of testing room. That's weird. Flickering lights. It's never a good sign. Oh, my scalp just started to crawl. Ooh, I don't know why. There's nothing really scary visually. Maybe it's whatever's in here. I need to burn some more Palo Santo. I would be. I don't know. It's just creepy AF. Hey, that wall's got Riz. What was that? Like a chair or something moving across the floor? That blinking light back there. Forget about it. Be like, okay, I'm done. Oh, he's Ramboing it. He's going in. If you have epilepsy, please close your eyes. Wow. How do you lock into those seats? Yeah, sad. It was very sad. Not me. I wasn't even alive. Why are you blaming me? And that's what worries me with political stuff. Just because our president says, yes, we're going to do this, doesn't mean we all want it. Don't lump me in with we, unless it's we. And just to let you know, this is a new thing Franco's been doing with the commentary. I kind of feel awkward listening to it because he generally doesn't do this. But hey, we all got to grow in different ways, so I just got to get used to it. I'm just used to it being Franco saying stuff during the show, not backlog, unless he's rewinding for something he saw, which he gets all kinds of evidence as far as sightings and stuff. Hmm. What was that? Hello? Yeah, that's great. Thank you. Thanks. Oh. Ooh, I heard that. Did you hear that? Like a door closing. Oh, yeah. Yeah. No. Ugh. I got the chills just on my back. Franko, you have some huge cojones, my friend. Oh my gosh. Hmm. Just get a dark feeling off of it this way. Have a chill. Really bad chill. What was that? Mm-hmm. Good. You should just keep going. Not. Run away! I know, baby. Sorry. Show it again. Show it again. I can't believe you're. Yeah. Creepy. Yeah. You hear that back there? Because I'm here with you. And other stuff and things. I wish he'd do a replay on that ball. I think that chain is there for a reason. He's pretty good about not going places he shouldn't. Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes, yes. No. Okay, so Frank did that, right? Oh, look at that orb! There's a couple of them. Oh, another one. I just heard a voice. Like a kid's voice. Could have been a woman. Oh my gosh. There's what? Mm-hmm. And it's dangerous. Eyeball. It did. Something moved that ball. Is that a closet behind that door? But yeah, just so you know, 99.9% of the time he's alone. Sometimes, very rarely, he invites friends. Like his brother. Man, who was that one white dude? I can't remember. He like cowboy, hickster. Mm-hmm. What the heck? Sounds like an old van or something. Or somebody in a wheelchair. Hmm. Hmm. It's freaking sad, dude. What was that? Oh, it's too dangerous. It's okay. Be shaken worse. It's a cow. I heard a footstep. So sad. So sad. Hmm. Doing. What are these tunnels for? Mm. And like I said, he always gets like really, really good evidence. And it's not just sounds. Like anybody can get crazy sounds. They can put it in later, whatever. Like visual things, crazy things that, yeah. He's alone. A lot more things happen for him than people that are in groups. Hello, little miss. Mm. What's that? Or like a mannequin movie in the 80s or something. Or the early 90s. There were a bunch of mannequins, but one came alive. And then more came alive, I think. I'd have to find it again. Hmm. Chapel? Hmm. What? Did you hear that? Hmm. I heard that. Hmm. Kind of like that. Yeah, me too. It was definitely down the hall because it had a resonance around it. I hate this bed. Ding, 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 ding. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Don't touch it. What are you doing? I'm touching it. Yeah, you should quit touching that. Now you're gonna have a little buddy. Yeah, yeah. Oh, it's her again. Can't believe he just touched that, Franco. Usually he has like a Swiss Army knife with different attachments and stuff, and he'll move things with it. I can't believe he touched that. He never does that. Never. Yeah, I got the chills bad. Because, like, he goes to cemeteries in Argentina and Chile and different places like that where uh, tombs and graves and everything are desecrated. There's bones all over the place. He never touches anything. And so for him to do that just then, weird. Dang, Franco, how'd you get like that? He's like, I didn't think it was real. Well, now you know. I gotta ask him, if possible. Hey, Armenia. Totally understandable, my dude. That's how I was at the beginning of the show. I don't know why. I just couldn't breathe. But then during the first break, I burned some Palo Santo. Then so much better. I was about to say, like, what is that? The handle is now on the ground. Is that what it says? Yeah, the handle is now on the ground. Could you imagine if it just flung back up really quick? Maybe it's negative energy surrounding you. We're going to get you, Franco. Hmm. There's a lot of activity down there, my dude. None. Is that what you just said? It's none of your business. Oh my god. She's back. Yeah, she's back. Back again. That chick's back. Tell a friend. It's like, why is she still there? Go home. Some of these people, I feel so bad. Like, their families are like, just gonna leave you here so you can get some help, and we're gonna come back and see you. And then they never come back. You just stare out the window day after day after day. It has definitely moved. And I heard it. Ah, did you see it? Hi, Frank. Mm-hmm. It's okay. I totally get it. Or it just flew at you. What the hell was that? A bug? Okay, it was a bug. Well, and it being all gravelly like that too, like it's not just gonna roll by itself. Mm-hmm. I concur. Come on, do it! Go hard! Go good! Mm-hmm. I heard it. It's like, what? Did you hear that? Mm-hmm. No, it's not. You just want it to be one of those dolls. But it really isn't, is it? Just terrifying. Hi, Franco. Hey. Hi, Franco. Oh, now it's a guy. Huh? No, it's not. Oh my gosh. Franco, come on, it's not one of the dolls. It's entities on the way. Don't you see it? Don't you hear it? It's coming from... It's not on that bed. Yeah, it does. It is not one of the dolls. Yeah, yeah. Oh my gosh. So do we. Thank you so much, Franco, for being amazing. Amazeballs. You're badass, Franco. Badass. Thank you so much. Alright, thank you so much once again for hanging out with me tonight on VR Paradox Media's Late Night in Rockies. It was a pleasure hanging out with you. Thank you to all of our friends on VR Paradox Media's Facebook, Twitter, iHeartRadio, YouTube, wherever else you may be listening Beyond the Omniverse tonight. I had a wonderful time, and I can't wait to do it again next weekend. What are we doing? I don't know. We'll all be surprised, won't we? Don't forget, you guys, we're all in this together. Together, we can make the world a bit better. And together, my friends, we are Paradox Media, because without you, there is no us. Until next time, nighty night, love and light. Have a wonderful rest of your weekend. And don't let this week be too hard on you. Don't take it too seriously. Enjoy life as much as you can. And I will see you back here. Same crazy time, same crazy place. Don't forget to Cash App, PayPal, Google Wallet, or Venmo us so we can get back on the video waves and more airwaves. We can be immense again. Let's go. Night night, love and light.